Hey everybody, welcome back to another exciting session on CoinEdition. My name is Tobit Tom and I'm one of the crypto journalists back here in CoinEdition. So today we have an exciting guest today, Mr. Albin Warin of XT.com crypto exchange. A little background on Mr. Warin. Before he joined the blockchain sector, he opened up 4 startups in the tech industry. All right, how are you, Mr. Warin?
Very good. Thank you for having me. Very excited to share.
It's quite an honor to have you here. I keep asking the same question to everybody. 2022 saw some advancement as well as crisis for the crypto industry, right? According to you, which was the most striking event in the crypto sector for you?
Well, I guess in 2022, this whole movement of more like a negative vibe started with the fall of Luna, because it was the kind of start of the fall down of the what we call the crypto god. So what I mean by that is, like, we had all these influential figures like Do Kwon, basically, who were representing Luna, that has been proven to eventually misguide investors and community. And then after him, it was Suju from Three Arrow Capitals. After that, it was Mashinsky from Celsius. After that, more towards the end of the year, was SBF from FTX. So basically what happened is, like, it broke the trust that we put in all these influential people, basically. And in some way show that even if the technology is good, at the end, it's really always related to how the people use the technology.
All right. Just like you mentioned, I'm pretty sure like FTX fall was one of the most shocking things that the crypto industry experienced. I mean, one of the shocking events. After the FTX's fall, people felt they couldn't trust centralized exchanges. So what happened was the crypto community, like many experts believe that crypto community has a rising demand for decentralization. So what criteria should how should a centralized exchange meet these rising demands?
Okay, so well, as a centralized exchange, our role is pretty simple, actually. Like, used to do all the financial institution or even banks. Why people use those services most of the time? Because it's safe eventually for people to deposit their fund or to use different financial instrument. And second, because of the level of service that is provided. So for us, actually, as a centralized exchange, we need to really focus on what matters to our users and in our business. So the primary concern for us is always about the safety. How, as an exchange, we are the safe guardian of the people assets, and we make sure that it's always contained or kept in the safety place. Second, what makes the difference? Because most of the time, why people will choose to go to crypto exchange instead of, for example, going to DEX? Because we are here to also welcome the primary user, in terms of, like, if you want to use a DEX, it's not often the first place people will go. It requires some knowledge. So as an exchange, our role is also to work on the education level, to educate people about crypto, about this new industry, and then also provide the right service to them. So when I say service, it's like what will make the difference of why people choose your platform. Because, for example, we offer at XT a 24/7 customer support in many languages, so people will feel very comfortable to be able to reach us if they have any issue for trading or any questions. So I really believe that the main difference that we can do is on those 2 layers, safety and service all the time.
Okay, you mentioned the safety, right? Like, how is XT.com actually doing this? Like, how are you guys keeping the crypto assets safe for those users?
Yes, of course. So of course we work with different custodial provider that will basically be our partners to save the people assets. That's one part. The second part is also that to make sure that we have the right tech. So we also invest a lot of money. We have a lot of tech people that are working on the security level to make sure that there is no issue of hacking or any such problem for the users.
So, like, is there a particular technology that X3.com is using, like, to protect these assets?
So for us, basically, it's not about using a particular technology, but when it comes to security, most of the time is to make sure that the basics are well respected. So build a solid foundation first, which comes from the in-house team. And on the second layer, work eventually with the right provider that could provide also some technology. So if you talk about custodial solutions, they will be our partner to help us to have the perfect combo and to make sure that it's safe and secure for the user.
All right. So basically, the crypto community, like, it's 2023. So the crypto community feels like, new year and new advancements will be happening around the crypto sector. But there are still crypto projects that are still in the crypto winter, like facing the difficulties and are still stuck over there. So, like, what advice would you give to the crypto investors? Like, in case they're facing this tough crypto winter again, or they are still facing it. So what advice would you give to them?
So what we've been seeing is, like, most of the time in crypto and financial markets, the market always acts as a cycle. So we have the bull cycle, we have the bear cycle. But eventually we know that everything is temporary. So what we advise, even from the investor side or even from the project side, is first to be able to be patient, because we know that in crypto world, everything used to be very fast. So no matter if people want to make fast money, or if, for example, if projects want to make fast progress, that used to be like the pace of the industry. So this is one thing, be able to cultivate patience. As an investor, what is very difficult sometimes is to sit on your own hands, because you sometimes, as even a trader, you want to be too active. And the second layer is, like, also eventually have a focus. When this can be applied to a project, because sometimes some projects, they want to do so many things at the same time, and it's very difficult. You should focus maybe on one thing that you are good at. And as an investor, eventually the same apply, because some investors, they would like to invest in all the different narratives, in all the different technologies. But eventually, if you become an investor in one particular niche, you will get more knowledge, you will get more expertise, and it will help you also eventually to get the market better and also to make better decisions.
Okay, so how would, like, if I'm an investor, how would I know which is the right project? Like, how would I know, okay, this project is good, this project is bad? Like, how would I know? How would I differentiate between both of them?
Yeah, so again, when it comes to the market, we hear a lot of information. But as an investor, the most important quality is to be able to get this information, filter it, and make your right opinion, because nobody should ever be responsible of your own decision of investment. So first, have you checked the project? Have you researched the team? Have you researched about the competitive landscape, about the technology they use? All these basics that every investor should do when it comes to the project. Second, what about the timing? Are we talking about this kind of narrative in the current timing of the market? Or are you looking to make an investment that is maybe more like long-term focused and you believe in this project? So when it comes to investment, it's basically always about yourself, your capacity to judge, and also to make the right decision at the right time.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so basically 2023, 2022 is over, 2023. So just like I said, the crypto community is looking forward 2023. They're expecting huge changes, huge advancements. Of course, nobody's expecting it to be a worse year, So, according to you, what projects should the crypto community look forward to in this new year?
Well, what happened is, like, of course, nobody can predict the market, but we eventually will see two angles. The angle number one is, like, the previous narrative that we used to talk about, even if it's NFT, even if it's like, for example, zero knowledge technology, or for example, green Web3, or digital identity, or even more popular GameFi, metaverse, all those narratives we've been talking last year eventually will come back with stronger projects. But eventually, as a novelty, it's very interesting. At the beginning of the year, you probably heard about, the Chat GPT. So everybody's talking about that, and all about AI can impact all the different industry. And we actually start to see crypto projects that connect with the AI. So I believe that this could be, for example, a very, very hot narrative for this year. And of course, maybe new ones that will come related more to concrete applications. Mm-hmm. When I say concrete application, I mean that when it comes to blockchain, crypto, Web3, at the end, the normal people, they want to know how it's going to help them in their daily life. So for example, when it comes to social media, we have seen like some projects that have tried to build from scratch this social file platform. But maybe the revolution in this sector will come from existing players that will implement, for example, crypto features. So I guess we need to look at this previous narrative, but eventually about how this new narrative could come up in the next months or for this year to build more trust and to be more always mass adoption for more people to join the industry.
So mass adoption, that's quite still difficult, to be honest, because every time I go to a meeting or hang out with my friends, the first thing they say, hey, did the price increase? And they don't know the technology behind it. So what should I say to these people? Like, how do I explain to them? It's not just about the price, and it's more beyond that. Like, how do I simplify the process? How do I make them understand about the blockchain industry?
Yes, so basically, for example, when you look at it from an entrepreneur's perspective, for example, from my own perspective, I always see how the technology can create new idea, to create new business. And of course, like when I started my first business, maybe 15 years ago, it was the beginning of Web 2, where this internet could allow everyone to create contents, to make a blog, to be a creator, to have a website. And that it was, at that time, a very exciting technology. Today, we're talking about Web3 that basically, in the ideal version of it, wants to promote more decentralization, give more power back to the creators, and make everybody part or owner of what is being created, basically. So we are trying to create a more fair world. And if we think about it, it would be like using everything eventually that has been built before across different verticals and eventually duplicate it, but just using a different technology. So it's like before, for example, to buy something like a clothes, you will go to the shop in the street. Then you could do it on internet, on the website. You could buy directly in a shopping marketplace. And in the future, eventually, you will wear like a helmet, you will be in a metaverse, and you will be able to have a different shopping experience. So it's just like an evolution that is allowed from the technology. Yes.
So I hope they listen to me this time instead of just talking about the price. Because every time they see me, they're like, did the price go up? Did the price go down? So thank you so much for that. So basically, when we talk about the crypto community, we usually focus on Twitter, right? So basically, like when we even though there are other social media platforms that still, like, the crypto community is active over there, it's usually associated with the Twitter space. And like in 2022, like around the last months or something, there was a huge FUD observed, that is fear, uncertainty, and doubt, like observed in the crypto space. So like, what advice would you give, like to the public in general, in case such a FUD arrives?
Well, what we see is that generally speaking, the human brain is
Yeah.
wired more like on the negative news side.
Mhm.
So you usually
Yeah.
tend to be more excited when we hear negative
Yeah.
things.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, when you open a traditional newspaper, you
Mhm.
see a lot of drama, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
what can I see actually is like how first people can change their perspective. For example, I'm traveling and I see in many markets that good
Mhm.
things happen in our ecosystem. So how can we foster this positive news? So I'm not sure if you heard about what we call the VTuber. So the VTuber as the new type of YouTuber, but more using like a virtual avatar. So
Mhm.
basically, it can be also eventually later powered by AI. So you imagine that tomorrow we have like an AI KOL, but
Yeah.
this AI KOL could be engine or feed with more like sentiment to push on positive news. Then it means like the content that will be created will be much more positive. Because at the end, when you go to Twitter, it's all made by humans. And sometimes, as we like the negative part, we tend to emphasize about it. But if we filter with more positive news, the general sentiment will be amplified and much more better. So we will avoid this third, these things like pollute sometimes actually not only Twitter but
Yeah.
the social medias in
Yeah.
general.
Okay, moreover, other than the FUD, like, there are social media influencers that could
Yeah.
affect the crypto industry's operations. So, do you believe that there are certain things like that? If yes, could you, what would be your advice to face these situation or face these obstacles?
Well, as I said before, when I was mentioning the fall of the crypto gods, that we had last year
Yeah.
with all these Doc One and SBF, etc. I believe it's also as for investing, a responsibility from an individual perspective to make your own research when it comes to the people, for example, that you want to follow, and how the information coming also from them is eventually right or is eventually wrong. Because the example of last year showed us that we tend to believe the common opinion and those gods, but at the end, it was maybe not the right way to
Yeah.
do it. So this kind of events actually, it's kind of good because it should push people to do more research, but
Mhm.
also the industry, because that's also the core of the blockchain technology, to really act on the transparency level. So that's also something that is very, very important, and we hope could be amplified in the future, because that was the original belief also when it comes to blockchain at the origin.
Okay, regarding the research part, like let's say I'm researching about a certain content. I mean, I see different versions of the same content. Like I've seen some saying this is right, this is wrong. There's not a certain not every content has the
Yes.
same answer to it. So how do I
Yeah.
know which of these, like while researching, like how do I research properly and how do I know which information is right?
So in the past, actually, most of the time, it's true that the information used to be generated by and more centralized. So you will go to a media, the
Yeah.
information will be written by maybe one journalist or two journalists, and then it will be massively spread to the population. Today, for example, we start to see that thanks to blockchain technology, the creation process could be more like common and reviewed by more people. A little bit like when it comes to, for example, mining, when, like, for example, a block is created and then the validation process comes from a network of people. If we succeed to have a similar way to create news, for instance, and there is a proper verification by a peer system, maybe it could help because we will have more counter power to say, yes, indeed, this is correct, this information, or no, it's wrong, this is incorrect, this information, because there could be a validation that is made by a much larger community. That eventually could be one way to validate the real information that is given to people. Yeah.
Okay, this is somewhat like a similar question about mass adoption also. So like you said, peer to peer. So how do I make sure that even others are able to follow this same concept? Like, okay, hey, I have an answer, but they're not ready to listen to me. They're not ready to. Uh, they might think I'm not the right one. Like whatever information I have is not the right one. And how do I make sure that they also follow this pattern?
Well, it takes time. It takes time. Every revolution in the world, when you look at the history of the car, the phone, the internet, there are always like a three phases. At the first, people think this thing is ridiculous, like a car. Why we will use a car? We have horses. Or phone. Why we will use a phone? We can write letter. Or internet. What is this thing? So at the beginning, it was ridiculous. Then it becomes dangerous. Okay, no, we're not going to use car. It's dangerous. It could kill people, etc. But and then the third phase is that it becomes an evidence. So it takes time. And when we talk about crypto, we've been through this kind of phase, like Bitcoin, for example. Oh, it's ridiculous. What is this? Or okay, Bitcoin is dangerous. But and tomorrow eventually will become evident. So every big revolution comes always through these three phases. So it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for that. Because trust me, it's been still very hard, like just like I mentioned, every time I go out or meet with my friends, it's really, really hard to try and explain it to them what it is all about. Well, all they see is it's just the coins, blockchain is just
Yes.
coins. We keep on saying that. So thank you so much for that. Like just like it's the new year and each company is having their own strategy. I'm pretty sure xt.com also has their own strategy about for this new year. So what does xt.com has planned for this year?
Well, for us, it's quite clear. We still want to focus on the three main dimensions. First of all, as I said at the very beginning, keep improving our tech, the technology, because it's still like the core of what we have built as an exchange, for example. And that's why we keep upgrading the system, releasing new version to provide a better, for example, trading experience or trading capacity. Second, we also want to keep being active on proposing new products to the users. So, for example, more recently, we've been more focusing on enhancing the futures trading experience. So, for example, we launched also the copy trading products. This is something that we will push more strongly to have more options for the people on the platform. And third, also keep expanding globally, meaning like enter new region, and make sure that we become more and more like a global player in the industry.
Okay.
Yes.
So how are you planning to become a global player? Is there a certain strategy that xt.com would implement to become a global player?
Well, we've been in the space for many years. I mean, we celebrate our last year in 2022 our fourth anniversary. You can see.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we grew up actually very fast. We started
Yeah.
as a small exchange, and then now we have more than 6 million users in the platform. We're in more than 12 countries operating with offices and hundreds of people around the world. With actually from the exchange business also open more services such as a launchpad, NFT marketplace, incubator. We have an investment fund. We have our own chain. So we basically developed a big ecosystem with one clear vision that was like building an open financial system for the world. So the strategy is like keep moving forward, keeping the same vision about building this open financial system for the world. And we know that, as I said before, it takes time. So we need to be patient, but we need to be focused on what make us succeed until now, and the product, the quality of product and service we provide. That's always like our core priority.
All right. This is another personal question that I have. What is the criteria that xt.com follows in deciding which cryptocurrencies should get listed on the exchange?
Yes. So most of the time, actually, the listing is a part of a project development strategy. And as an exchange, our role is to accompany the projects from the very early stage, because sometimes these projects are quite young. And we need also to help them on the advisory level about how we can sometimes accompany them to the go-to-market strategy, or even more like in the growth development stage, and open our resources and ecosystem to help them to grow, basically. But as an exchange, our role is to keep up with the market, keep up with the narrative, because we want to offer the product or the coins, that the token that basically the user are looking for. So we always need to keep very active in terms of researching the market, connecting to new narrative, connecting to new ecosystem, connecting to new projects, because at the end, we need to provide to our user what they are looking for. Altcoins, or more like traditional coins. We need to have a variety of options, so people will choose to trade with us.
So like when you talk of the variety of options, like, is it like, do you look at do you just look at the, like, for example, let's say like if it's the Twitter community, like if you just look at the Twitter community, we can know what is happening and all that. So do you just look over there, or like what are the different areas that xt.com covers in order to know that okay, this is the next new project, you know?
Well, it's actually most of the time a deep research. The first, we look at the product itself, or the project itself, what it is about, because this is the core of any company, basically. Second, we spend a lot of time with the team, because it's also a people relationship, understanding the founder vision, understanding what the team want to achieve, what is the team background, and third, of course, see what kind of attraction and traction they are generating from the community or the user angles. So it's, from an exchange perspective, we are here also to look at the different variables, the different elements, to judge if this project is good or has the potential to please in our community and the traders, of course.
So thank you so much. This was such an insightful session, and I'm pretty sure I learned a lot, and I'm pretty sure the community will learn a lot more. And I can't just wait and go ahead and tell my friends also about this. So thank you so much. I'm pretty sure you're busy. I'm sorry?
Thank you for having me today. And
yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.